Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 of Nua Talks with Karishma Chawla, where we're talking about how to boost your immunity during this time of coronavirus and the monsoons. And now we're going to talk about nutrition and lifestyle changes you can make to boost your immunity. So, Karishma, let's get right to it. Are there any nutrition guidelines you would recommend to keep the bacteria, our new best friends, happy?
Certainly. Now, before I just dive into what you should eat and what you shouldn't eat and what should you do and not do, let me just give you a quick overview on how actually these bacteria developed. Because then you would get easy for you to understand why we're doing what we're asked to do. So first, very importantly, it's all of us have a very unique set of this bacteria, okay, which is basically determined by our DNA. And when is the first exposure to these bacteria is when we are born through our the birth canal from with our mother. Secondly, we are obviously the first thing that we are fed by is the mother's milk. So
Right.
again, from the mother's milk you are getting the bacteria. And then further on, from the diet and the environment is where we live in, so where your lifestyle also comes in. So you realize how your mode of delivery, your probably if you're breastfed or bottle fed, or then your diet in childhood as well as adolescence, along with your lifestyle and environment play an important role, either to have good bacteria in your system or the bad bacteria. So obviously, when you have the good bacteria in the system, your immune system is stable. You've actually kept you kept all the health disorders at bay. But when the bad ones overpopulate for whatever reasons, right? It's then when actually you actually have invite a lot of health disorders which we really have one we really don't want. Like say for example, even in this current scenario, we are basically talking about a virus, right? So if your immune system is helping you, that means you're keeping an infection at bay.
Mhm.
Like I'm sure that you all have heard during every talks that are happening around, right? So the most important thing of they're saying that the only people who have commodities in terms of their health are the highest risk factor. Especially in India, the mean age that they're talking about is between 20 and 45, because this is the time period where they see that most of the people, because of diet and lifestyle, have your immune suppressed,
Right.
right? So that's when your diet and lifestyle is not working for you, is when the bad bacteria is overtaking the good bacteria and their immune system gets suppressed, and then you're inviting all of these. So at one point it may sound scary, okay,
Of course.
but the good news is that though our constitution could be this, while we were growing up and blah blah blah, we can actually condition our body from the minute you realize we can change this. So we can get back the entire microbiome or the bacteria in the right form in order for it to work with and for us.
Got it.
Okay.
Especially during the monsoon, people do tend to fall sick, right? You'll get your cold and your cough, and maybe you'll have a tingle in your throat because the weather's changing. And right now, anything you get makes you worry that you potentially have coronavirus. So
Yeah.
I think right now, more than, not that it's not important otherwise, but right now, more than ever, it feels like we have to do what it takes to keep our immunity up.
So, I would also like to reaffirm a thing, like, I do understand that, when the immune system, when the monsoons arrive, it's seen that the immune system drops a little, right? Which probably is a fair scientific research. But I would also like to question or ask somebody, okay, to figure this out that, so first what I would like to do is that I want to remove all the bad things that can be there in your system, which can actually mess up with this composition of the bacteria that we have. So your usual gut irritants are your wheat, soy, sugar, processed foods, corn, and sometimes even dairy.
Yeah.
All right. So these need to be out. Okay. Second thing that we should also look at it is also limit ourselves to alcohol, because it completely alters your bacteria. Also to your meat heavy foods, because your meat heavy foods have the bacteria which are usually found when your body is inflamed. So we basically go like a little lower on it. Most importantly is, we really need to learn to listen to our bodies. So for example, if you have a headache, maybe it's a way of body telling us that you've overworked, calm yourself down, rest a little. But we are used to having the pill, right? So all I'm saying is have the pill when necessary, have the antibiotics when necessary, but don't make it your lifestyle.
Mhm.
So go low on it, because both of them will can alter the gut microbiome or the bacteria, as I said, and also they may affect negatively the gut lining, which is again very, very important for your immune system. And so I'm going to give you a quick fact to it. Is, whenever you take an antibiotic course for 5 days, right, it actually messes with our gut bacteria for almost a month.
Okay,
That means we are going back to square one to restore it. It may take us anywhere between 4 to 8 weeks.
got it.
So especially when you're doing that, you got to give yourself a little more love and care.
Mhm.
Okay. Besides this, another very important thing I see, a lot of people are, indulging a lot into artificial sweeteners and everything they eat or drink, because they think they're empty then they're basically no calories, right?
Right.
But again, the issue with that is that can again alter your gut bacteria, and actually can create a lot of glucose intolerance, which will actually lead to a lot of cravings and weight gain after some time. Another important thing is, now as we require food to thrive, so does these beneficial bacteria. So now the next thing is, what exactly do you feed them with? Well, the same thing that we feed ourselves. So they basically thrive on whole grains, fruits, and vegetables.
Okay.
Okay. Now another very exciting thing would be, the fiber that we eat, right, that comes from the whole grains, fruits, and vegetables. We don't digest them, right? We don't do anything about it. They're just helping us with the bowel movements. But what happens is that these bacteria, they actually consume these, and they produce short chain fatty acids, vitamins, and your immune regulating compounds. So
Okay.
you see how those bacteria already there in your system, you're giving them more food to eat, and how they will populate better, right? So more specifically, which are your, and so the fancy term for these foods are called prebiotics.
Okay.
Okay. And more specifically, to get into it, would be your oat bran, barley, quinoa, millet, amaranth, Jerusalem artichoke, bananas, asparagus, leek, onion, and garlic. So these are your specific ones. But nonetheless, if we continue having a lot of foods, right, which are high in fiber, they, your bacteria is taken care of.
Mm.
The third important thing is having good fats, right? Now a lot of people are scared, मैं घी नहीं खाऊंगा या मैं घी नहीं खाऊंगी, because that is saturated fat, उसे weight बढ़ जाएगा. But actually ghee is a good fat. Coconut oil is a good fat. Olive oil is a good fat. The only thing that we need to do is we need to take care that we don't overdo something.
Right.
Say, for example, in a day, I tell you all that maybe you can go up only to 3 to 4 teaspoons on the higher side of the oil. So that is fine. It's only when you go beyond it is when a good product can also become a bad product.
Sure.
So, all these three kind of oils, along with avocados, raw nuts, and seeds, all of these are your good fats. Now, what they do in your body, they help you basically to detoxify. We do understand that our gut is the biggest organ of detoxification. And second important thing is that the omega-3 fats, right, that we spoke about, that also comes in your raw nuts and seeds, your walnuts, chia, and your flax seeds, they basically help you with, maintaining the intestinal lining, the gut lining, and also prevents cancer in
Okay.
and around your gut. So again, very, very important. Another few foods that I could, that you could introduce would be turmeric in your daily food.
Mhm.
Anyways, luckily the Indians are used to putting turmeric in everything, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to give you one simple concoction. Take 1 teaspoon of coconut oil, cold pressed, pinch of turmeric, and pinch of black pepper, and have this any time of the day. So this
Okay.
is going to get the inflammation down and also help you with actually introducing better bacteria in your body.
Thank you for that. So that brings me to my next question, especially now when everyone's home more than they were before. We're, we're all going back to a simpler way of living. Just, trying to make the best of what we already have at home. So what would your tips be to boost your immune system from that perspective, from a lifestyle perspective, in our daily routine starting today? What would you suggest?
So, I quite like the fact that this whole talk is again basically going back to all basic things in life,
Yeah.
right? So I'm going to come back to the most simple ways in how you can do simple stuff in your house to actually enhance your immune system. So the first important thing that we could do is prayers and meditation. When we are praying, we're actually not just asking for our desires, right, or our wishes, right? we're also expressing gratitude. We're removing that much time from our daily life actually to connect with ourselves and to the highest energy. So by itself, that is very, very healing.
Okay.
And the whole idea is the immune system is basically going to be in a flow only when we are in a flow and when we are connected to ourselves. So I think even if you sit down for 5 to 10 minutes, right, just sit down for 10 minutes and do this for yourself. You could also do a lot of meditation. So a lot of people get very, very scared when we talk about meditation because they say, you know what, I can't shut off. You don't need to do that. Just try this, okay? Just 1 minute, probably just concentrate on your breathing. And whatever things are coming into your mind, let them come. Don't ignore them, but just say, okay, you can hold on there. That's how you will build that 1 minute to 2 minutes, and finally you'll come up to like 5 minutes of meditation where you're not thinking about anything else. Like a lot of people, when they go for a run, for them that is meditating because they're only basically, watching their breath because they're not worried about anything else around them. So meditation is not rocket science. It's very, very simple.
It can be whatever brings you peace.
Yeah, and basically when you're on a flow, like when you see kids playing games, right? Why do you think that kids are so happy all the time? Or their immune system is probably it's okay, but kids know the immune system is building. They're in the flow. They are not concentrating on anything else. So even as adults, right? Even you can indulge into games, and that itself is healing for you, and that can actually help you to enhance your immune system. Remember, when you're in the flow, when you are in a happy moment, what is actually happening is that you are actually emoting a lot of physical emotions from your body, which is very positive. And that's the game changer for your immune system. We could also do something like a simple journaling. Sometimes because we are irritated in the day, like a lot of things that we are looking at right now, just then write them down, you emote them well, you know. Or learning a new skill, sitting in the house learning a new skill, it helps you with the neuroplasticity of your brain. So it helps you with being less resistant to change. So
Right.
all of these can be done while you are at home.
Thank you so much for that. And I'm going to see you soon in part 3, where we'll be talking about the relationship between stress and our immune systems. So see you there.